This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for this program is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Shannon. Welcome to Local Color. You know what? We got a lot to talk about today. Let's just get right to it. You and I are going to talk about
music. All the artists to watch in 2013.
And you and I are going to talk about...
We're going to talk about theater and the plays you want to mark your calendars for in 2013.
And then you're going to help us get our funny on, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about what to do if you like comedy.
Well, you know, this event is one that we've talked about before. It's called the Incognito Art Gala. This is the one that I told you guys about that's at the Botanic Gardens, where they cover the name of the artist, and you just buy the paintings that you like. So you buy what you like, not what you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's coming up on the 18th from 5:30 to 7:30.
What a great idea.
I think that's really cool, too. So, you want to get started?
Let's go.
Okay. We'll be right back. Pat and I are going to talk about Memphis musicians. You know, the mission of Local Color is to tell people about upcoming events and things to do. And we had this long conversation about all these awesome bands that are coming up and coming back through. And I'm glad that we're going to take this opportunity now to share that with the audience. And don't feel like you have to write any of this down. You can go to wkno.org/localcolor. And on our website, we're going to have the names of the artists we're talking about with a link to their websites or their social media sites. But, you know, first of all, we got to talk about Lucero.
Gotta talk about
Lucero.
Just one of my personal favorite bands. I remember seeing their very first show with the North Mississippi All-Stars. They did this big show at the Daisy, and it was phenomenal. And I have loved them ever since. I had a bootleg recording of the show and everything, and they weren't mad at me for that.
Yeah.
And but they have been so busy. They've had 8 records. Their latest record has been doing very well. They did a video earlier in the fall of 2012. And so 2013 is just going to be all about Lucero.
Listen, these guys play between 150 and 200 shows a year.
Yeah.
They're called the synthesis of rock, soul, and country. I mean, they cover all of it. And they're nice guys. Like you said, they don't care if you've got a bootleg
out at the bar.
Yeah. And if you walk up to them and say, wow, that was really great, they actually engage in conversation with you. They're just normal, everyday guys that have toured the world, and I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
Now,
with that.
you were telling me about Daryl Pettis.
Daryl Pettis, hot gospel act in town.
26-year-old
yes, it's really
singer, songwriter, preacher.
Preacher does it all. He's one of those guys that comes in the room and he just has so much energy about him. And when he gets up on stage, you know, Strength and Praise is the name of his of the choir that's behind him. And they have been so hot. Not only did they have a song last year on the Gospel According to Memphis, which was a compilation of different gospel artists in town that Mr. Dell put together. They had a song on there that did very well called One Shot. Then he also has this has his own record out, and there's a song New Season that's been doing well. So everybody's been talking about them. And then another gospel act that is so hot right now is a group called Vincent Tharpe and Kenosis. And they just signed a deal to EPM Music, which is Ernest Pugh Music. Ernest Pugh,
from the big city of Millington.
Boy, yeah. He was born in Millington, He played with Alanda Draper for, he was in Alanda's choir for many years. He's got a 5-octave voice. He's absolutely amazing. He decided to he was going to start his own label, and he was going to bring it back to his hometown. So it's, he's based out of the Memphis area, and what he's doing, taking acts that are doing well here and pushing them to the rest of the world, it's going to be fabulous for, everything that's going on in gospel here.
Yeah. Now, Kenosis is, it's a massive band.
Yeah.
And the voices alone are amazing, but when they're together, it's a revival. Every time they play, it's a revival.
And one of the things that I really love, not that I'm a fashionista or anything like that, but if you go Google them and you look at the pictures, they all just look so cool. They look so cool and hip. They look like the person you would see on the street. It's very, real life, but it's also got this edge that's this fashion piece. And he really, just says to the group, wear your own clothes and all that, but we're gonna have some colors themes, and everything.
Well, here's my question: how long have they been together? They won the 2010 Rhythm and Gospel Award for Best Indie Gospel.
And I'm not sure how long that the whole choir has been together. I really don't remember. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I don't know anything about Kirby Lauren, but her album Daddy's Child?
Yeah.
I have heard amazing things about that.
And she just signed this great publishing deal. We all know that I guess we don't all know. Publishing deals are hard to come by.
Yeah. And your publishing is where you make the money.
That's where you make the money, and she just signed a really great deal. She's a member of the Music Resource Center, and so we're really involved with her. And that's something to be proud of. To get a publishing, licensing deals, that's how, as a musician, you make your money, especially these days.
Now, she did this thing that I thought was really cool, her Song a Day journey.
Yes.
That is so interesting, and it's gotten really wide acclaim. I'm sure you can go on YouTube because that's where she posted them, right?
She was writing a song, she posted.
Every day for a year, she did a song a day and posted it on YouTube.
And what a great promotional idea.
I think so too, and what a great way to use social media.
Yeah.
Okay, now, did you hear the Owens sisters?
At the, at Goat Days.
At Goat Days. Mm-hmm. These girls, these are 4 sisters from Germantown. I think they're from like 15 to 21. 2 of them put off college for a couple of years. They sang together in choirs throughout their collective school experience, but they never sang together. Mm-hmm. And they got together just like last year and started singing, and immediately were booked to play the Delta Fair. And as soon as I heard them, I had them at Goat Days. They're wonderful. Listen for the Owens sisters.
Yeah,
they're kind of like
been talking about them.
Remember in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, the Worthy Girls?
Yes.
They're kind of like the Worthy Girls, and they're all, each one is just as cute as the next one. But the Owens sisters are one that we need to listen for. And Marcella Pinilla.
Marcella!
She is beautiful, talented, sweet, smart, funny, creative.
One of the nicest people you will ever meet.
And has really come into her own.
Yes, she put out an EP a year and a half ago, and now she is in the studio. She's at Cotton Rose Studio working with Nico Lewis here in town, and they're working on her full length. But in the meantime, she's been getting all this attention from other people, and Victor Wooten, who is known for, just being the coolest guy ever, and revered in the jazz scenes, revered by musicians. He's a musician's musician, and he's been working with Marcella, and they're actually doing a special performance together in LA at the National Conference of Music Merchants. So Gibson, St. Blues, all the companies that sell,
awesome.
and Amro here in town, they go. Everybody's there, and they're selling their gear, and they're looking at new gear and everything. And so it's a lot of musicians and a lot of media. So that's going to be a fabulous show for her.
Well, I'm going to say something. The one that I'm really proud of and excited about is going to happen later on this month at the White House.
Oh, yes. We got to take some
Barkays.
Memphis music to DC.
I mean, from 1966 to 2013, they are still going and still growing.
It's amazing.
And they're playing at the gala for the presidential inauguration.
Yes.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
That
and
is
you know, the
awesome.
Barkays are known for their stage antics. It's a high energy show. It gets everybody up dancing. Now that they've added in, they have this Stax Soul review that they do that goes through all of the artists, all the big Stax artists, which they can do because they were
the house band for Stax.
Right. I mean, they
mean,
have the right to do it.
Yeah.
And the Barkays have also in the last few months, they put out a single called "Grown Folks." It's their first big radio hit, top 10 hit in 20 years.
That's wonderful.
And so they have been really busy. The song was produced by Jazzy Faye, who is this huge hip hop producer who's worked with everybody like Lil Wayne and, you know, every hip hop name you can imagine. And so he is the son of James Alexander, who's the bassist from the Barkays. And he came in and produced the whole thing. And it has been burning up the Billboard charts for the last 6 months. It's been on the charts.
We're about out of time, but talking about burning up, we got to talk about the River City Tan Lines.
River City Tan
These
Lines.
guys have taken punk, rock,
Yeah, the whole garage
thing, mashed it all together, three-piece.
Three-piece with a chick. With a chick writing
that
most
plays
of the
a
song.
flying bee.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. Alicia is a force to be reckoned with here in Memphis, and in the rock scene, there aren't a lot of women, and she is by far one of the most respected. So that's fabulous.
I think
you
so,
know,
too.
I will mention two things also in Memphis music that someone might not know about. Next weekend at the New Daisy, we've got the Hometown Throwdown.
We talked about that.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be so fabulous.
It's
2
gonna be
nights.
great.
So all the rock fans can go to that. But also for those who like to just sit back and listen to good music and hear a good DJ and a good jukebox and all that, Karen Carrier, who owns Molly Fontaine's and the beauty shop, she is opening a new place, and it is the Old Dough in Cooper Young, and it's going to be called Bar. And
That's
it's just
cool.
a bar. It's
That's
just
cool.
a bar to go hang
We're
out
gonna have
at.
to talk about that more.
Yes.
Guys, go to the website, check out these musicians. They're amazing. And coming up next, we got Chris and Mike talking about our funny bones. How to get our funny on.
Professor Gould, I love what you've done with your hair.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. You're usually on another side of the production, but we get to talk about comedy.
We
today.
sure do, and not just any comedy. We get to talk about Memphis comedy.
Now, one of the things about Memphis comedy that people really don't understand is that it exists almost without a place to exist. It's
true. We do not have an in-town comedy club anymore. There was the Bartlett Comedy Spot that closed recently, and before that, the last Memphis-based comedy club was Comedy Tennessee,
right
over on Sycamore View. So that closed in 2008, I believe.
long enough to where
It's
you
long
have to
enough,
think
yeah.
about it. I mean,
So you'd think it would fall apart, but no. In fact, the Memphis comics have been working the whole time. And through a series of open mics that we have, like I host an open mic every Monday over at the Poplar Lounge. That usually gets started about 10. And then there's also an open mic at the P&H Cafe every Thursday at about 9:30. And so we're able to keep up on our chops even though we don't have a home club that we can be based out of.
Now, these events you're talking about, those are more for stand-up comedy, for people who like stand-up. Can you tell me a little bit about what those nights are like? Do you see a lot of the same people over and over again, or is there?
You certainly have your regulars, and that's who the majority of the comics who show up are. They're the regulars just coming back to keep honing material, try out new things. But part of the excitement about any open mic is you get first-timers.
Right.
So you have people who don't know what to expect. Maybe they've never been to a live comedy show before. Maybe they've been listening to records for years and they've been honing something and they just want to present it. Or maybe someone just told them they're the funniest person they know. And so watching how that all comes together in their first time up is part of the excitement.
Yeah, especially the ones who've just been told you're the funniest person I know.
Yeah.
Because that usually has more to do with the person giving the compliment than the person who's being complimented.
Generally speaking, yeah.
So But even if you've seen a lot of comedy shows before, it may not prepare you for something like the Freak Engine.
That's true. Freak Engine is, of course, as you know, Memphis's longest-running improv show.
15 years.
15 years now over at TheaterWorks.
Mostly at midnight.
Yeah, it's first Friday of every month at midnight. That's their coveted spot that they've had for oh so long. And they still get people turning out, and that's much more of game improv.
Right.
So closer to what you'd find on Whose Line Is It Anyway, for instance. Right. And speaking of short form improv, the Wise Guys Improv, which I'm a member of, also has a short form show on the second Saturday of every month over at Cafe Eclectic.
And you guys do one of my favorite things, which is the Storytellers Unplugged, where you bring in people who aren't comedians, you get them to work with the audience and tell stories, and then you guys improv comedy around those stories.
Yeah, we create scenes that are inspired by the stories we've just heard, and that's a lot of fun. That's the third Saturday every month, and really, that's adults only. Just
really,
so I can
really quickly, because we're running out of time. We were talking about all these different tribes of comics, the stand-ups that work in different places, the different improv troupes, but they all come together and bring in some outsiders to this, what's becoming an annual festival.
Yes, the Memphis Comedy Festival. The Memphis Comedy Festival started last year. They're coming up on their second one, and that's going to be over at TheaterWorks, and that's February 7th through February 10th. And they've got an improv event, they've got a stand-up event. Each event is $7, and I think the pass for the whole thing is $40. But it's a great way to go out and meet the local comedy talent.
And it's a lot of funny for not a lot of cash. Well, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
Here in just a minute, Mamie and I are going to sit down, and we're going to talk about all the plays you need to mark your calendar for in 2013, or at least some of them.
So we had a busy winter, then we had a little lull. Now we're getting geared back up.
Yeah, it's starting again.
I'm really looking forward to this theater season.
I am also, well, you know, we're still in the middle of the last theater season, but this last half, it's pretty loaded with good stuff. Now, am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me?
I think you're interviewing me.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't either. Let's just talk.
Let's just talk about what's coming up in the theater.
Okay, let's start with this month at TheaterWorks, The Left Hand Singing.
You know what? Let me just give you a rundown of what's happening this month, because I want to go way back just a little bit to a previous episode of ours. You know, we had the Altar Boys on.
Yes.
And the Altar Boys were a gigantic hit at Theater Memphis, and they're bringing them back. They're calling it The Second Coming, but it's the same show.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Second Coming of the Altar Boys. It was such a popular show. You know, it's frustrating the way our subscription houses are set up. You know, a show runs from this period of time to this period of time, whether it's a big hit or not, or a terrible flop.
And not that we have a lot of terrible flops, but if it's a big hit,
if it's a big hit, when it's done, it's done. So they have to revive them. You know, we don't have the ability to transfer them to a bigger theater or another theater. It just doesn't work like that.
So the same cast, the same
folks are coming back, and under the same direction. It promises to be very exciting, because, you know, there's nothing like the encore. You know, when you've had a show that was so good, you get to have an encore. That's what this is. This is their encore.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, what next?
That's what's happening. At the other end of that spectrum, we have a play that's coming to Memphis for the first time that's very important. It's The Mountaintop, also by Katori Hall, who's from here. For being from here, she had her debut very recently with a stellar production of Hurt Village at the Hattie Lou Theater. Right? Well, The Mountaintop is her show that played on Broadway just last year with Samuel L. Jackson and Angela Bassett. It is, it's the show that first got her a lot of international attention when it won the Olivier Award in London. And, you know, the Olivier is like the Tony. It's like the British Tony. So she won for Best New Play. And then it was produced, like I said, on Broadway. So it's making its debut here at the Circuit Playhouse. It's a co-production with Hattie Lou. The goal is to sort of give people a taste of what they're going to see once the Hattie Lou Theater, the new Hattie Lou Theater, opens in Midtown.
Now, there's one that's coming up that I'm really intrigued by.
Okay.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Well, that's a little further down the road. Now you want to start talking about the things you need to mark your calendar for in 2013.
Okay, when is it coming?
Right. Well, let's just tell people to check the website and we'll get all the dates
Okay.
there
Yeah.
because if I start doing it, I will lie.
That's okay. You
But
do
yeah,
it well.
Debbie Does Dallas at
I mean,
the
is this
Circuit
like
Playhouse.
based on the movie?
On the pornographic
oh my
movie?
Gosh.
Yeah.
How are they going to do that?
Well, a lot of people have asked that question in the past, and it's been this play is produced more often than you might realize. It's a musical because when we think about classic '70s pornography, we obviously think about choreography and singing. No, it's relatively tame in a lot of ways.
So is it about the movie, or is it about making the movie, or the
script.
characters of the movie, or?
You know, I haven't seen Debbie Does Dallas in so long. I can't really tell you all the particulars, but it's very closely built around the original script to that film about a group of high school senior cheerleaders who want to become Texas cheerleaders. There was actually some legal disputes because they were obviously the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and Dallas Cowboys did not want themselves portrayed in that light when the original movie came out. So a few years back, somebody thought it would be hilarious to take this classic piece of camp pornography and to develop it as a stage musical. And its original production was straightforward, but there was no nudity. There was no,
So it's for theater.
It's for theater. There was a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, we're going to have to come back and talk about that.
It's been done since with much raunchier choreography, and I think Courtney Oliver is involved in this, and I have a lot of faith in her to bring the raunch.
Well, I can't wait to see it or
She'll
hear
smack
about
me
it.
for saying that,
That's
but,
okay. That's okay. We're going to get Pat back in here, and we're going to wrap it up and talk about some karaoke.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
We barely got to talk about anything in 2013.
I know.
Well, there's a lot more you should see.
We'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it later.
That went by way too fast.
Yeah, it did.
I really want. Please let me know the next time you go to see Daryl Pettis.
Oh, definitely. It's and he does a lot of performances around town too. So he played the Cooper Young Festival in 2012. So there are opportunities to see him coming up.
And Chris, you're going to have to let me know. You know, I have selected time that I can go to theater, so you're going to have to let me know.
Well, we had a lot of things we wanted
know.
to talk about, and time just ran out. We barely got to the top of our list.
I know.
So I guess people can check the website.
Yeah,
and
we'll
list,
have it all.
We'll list all the things that we think you should mark your calendars for.
And speaking of marking your calendars, Miss Lady over here goes every Friday night to P&H for what is it called?
Rock and roll
Rock Star Karaoke.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Just last week I did a wonderful Loverboy performance. The kid is hot. It was hot.
Who told you it was wonderful?
She's a legend
Mark
in her own
Jordan.
mind.
A mutual friend.
She's heard me sing, and it's awful. But you know, karaoke, I just don't care.
Yeah,
just
you
have
can get up
fun.
there, but you have to watch. You have to pay attention to where you go.
That's it.
You should go scope it out, find out what the deal is. Some places you go to, it's really laid back. Everybody's
and some
having
of
fun.
them are like very regimented,
Yeah.
and they take it seriously.
They are auditioning for American Idol.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just like, oh my goodness.
Have you ever
Props.
heard about Old Witten Tavern?
That they've been doing karaoke for a long time.
They do it on Monday nights, and they were suggested to me, and that is on Witten Road in Bartlett.
Okay.
And then the Cove, of course.
The Cove
Please
now
tell
has
me
karaoke.
that they're laid back. Have you been, Chris?
Oh, I avoid karaoke like the plague.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
you know, he's a-
Well, it's because he actually sings.
I know, he can actually sing. But, you know, it seems like the Cove might be laid back.
Yeah, I wonder. We're going to have to go check it out to
I think
figure
so.
it out.
And they're on Wednesday nights. So we've got Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I think Alfred's on Beale has.
Alfred's and Built
all the
Windjammers
time.
in East Memphis. They have karaoke. It's really interesting to go and see what the scene is, see who the people are, and
See if anyone is stupid enough to sing "Come On Eileen" or.
I would sing it with you.
Have you ever tried to do that karaoke?
No.
It's one of the killers. It's like End of the World as we know it. You just, if once you've done that, you'll never do karaoke again.
But then the other part of it is some songs are just like everybody in the audience sings it.
Yeah.
You do Elton John, Tiny Dancer, or you do Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline. You do any of those
Also
songs.
humiliated
and everybody-
myself with a terrible rendition of "Baby Got Back." I almost had to leave
Oh
town.
gosh, I really wish somebody would have been rolling
Yeah.
tape on that one.
I'm sure it's probably on YouTube if you look hard enough.
So you go every Friday night.
Yeah, I try to. It's definitely a lot of fun, and and I'll tell you why I did it. Interesting story. I started doing karaoke because I had to make a lot of presentations for work, and I really get nervous. Even though I'm used to getting up and talking to people, small group presentations, I get really nervous. And so I decided I was going to do karaoke because I can't sing, and if I can get up and
do
sing
that.
in front of a bunch of people, then talking to people about things I'm passionate about, oh, that'll be easy. So that was my little medicine for myself, and it worked wonderfully.
Well, I think that we should all get Chris out and do a trio somewhere, huh?
Too much trauma.
Come on, Chris.
Too many attempted Dexy's Midnight Runners just didn't work. It's embarrassing for me and everyone who has to watch it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please come back next week and go out and enjoy your local color. Chris, come on.